Hey, welcome back to Learning is the New Working. In this episode, we meet Fernando SanchezArias. He is a human and organizational strategist, chief people officer, a chief learning officer, and an advocate of diversity, culture, innovation, education, and digital transformation. Fernando has 20 plus years of experience as a business and human capital leader in lots of organizations and specializes in organizational effectiveness, innovation, and corporate strategic relations. He was a member of the board of directors for ATD and 59th World President of the Junior Chambers International Organization. He was Chief People Officer at Home Depot's Global Customer Commerce Group and served as Director of its learning organization. He currently serves as Chief People Officer at the Click Institute, a Washington, D.C.-based think tank, and he speaks English, Spanish, and Portuguese. We recorded this conversation live at a Learning Leaders Conference in Washington, D.C. late last year, back when it was still acceptable to convene hundreds of people, form friendships with strangers, and sit down across a table for face-to-face get-to-know-you talks. I actually thought I'd lost these audio files, and so did not publish them for a long time, but I'm glad that I found them, because Fernando is a true lifelong learner. He's committed to giving back to our profession, and he's a great advocate for cultural and cognitive diversity. In our conversation, we talk about the learning culture at Home Depot, his own extraordinary journey from his birthplace of Venezuela, and the value of scientific and evidence-based approach to our work, and, of course, his own study and his work with the Click Institute in Washington, D.C. I hope you enjoy my conversation, dusty from the archives, with Fernando SanchezArias. Welcome to Learning is the New Working, our podcast series. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes.
Tell me your name and the organizations that you work with.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. My name is Fernando SanchezArias. I am the Chief People Officer of a think tank based in Washington, D.C. The name is Click Institute. It's a think tank and an intellectual space. We address some critical topics that, for instance, cultural and cognitive diversity for innovation is among the 13 priorities for the 13 years that we have chosen. And my background is a combination of corporate America, Fortune 100, a corporate retailer like Home Depot, an oil and gas manufacturing company for Latin America and Middle East and Asia, and my consulting practice since I was in college. That private work generation, work experience combines with nonprofit volunteer leadership at the Association for Talent Development, a Virginia-based organization that is the most prestigious organization all over the world in talent development, and Junior Chamber International, known as JCI, which is a federation for young entrepreneurs and leaders working with the United Nations in more than 150 countries.
Well, I can already tell you're a very productive guy with a lot of things going on. The second question I always ask is, where do you live and why? And how did you get there?
Good. I live in the north area of Houston. It's a developed and planned community named The Woodlands. Beautiful area, green area, a planned community. So it's a beautiful, cross-cultural and a very advanced community. And I live in Houston because I was relocated from Belgium. I am originally Venezuelan, but I was living in Belgium due to my work with the oil and gas manufacturing company serving Asia. Mm-hmm. I was in charge to open an office in Malaysia. My wife was doing a PhD in psycho-oncology in Brussels. Then I was relocated to Houston But now I'm working between Washington, D.C. and Houston. Even though I was working with Home Depot, I was serving a division and the headquarters of this division in e-commerce and Windows covering was located in Houston. It was previously a subsidiary. So that allowed me to live the beauty of living in a cosmopolitan city such as Houston, but still have the opportunity to travel around the country and experience the beautiful dynamic of retail and e-commerce.
Yeah. Wow. There's so much for us to talk about. And we're here at the Learning Leaders Conference. This is part of a compilation of conversations we're having here. And you did a great session this morning, very interactive. We tied each other up. We untied each other. I want to dive into that a little bit. But I also noticed in your presentation, you always go to the science and the research behind your theories and your sort of presentations. What's your academic background?
Yes. I was always a practitioner. And I was not really... I had a degree in business administration with a major in organizational methods. I became a teacher in the same college that I graduated from back in Venezuela. And I was always a passionate learner. But I didn't have the great opportunity to really be a rigorous scholar and a researcher. Being a member of the board of directors of the Association for Talent Development, we were visited by a representative from the University of Pennsylvania who was launching for the first time an executive doctoral program for chief learning officers. Yes. And I was fascinated by his presentation and by the opportunity for me being a consultant at that time and an executive of an oil and gas manufacturing company. It was very difficult for me to go to a master or a doctoral program to only study.
Yeah,
okay?
And it's an intense amount of time and tough to...
it was impossible. Yeah. So this program was an executive program that I could take 1 week and then going back and apply what I was learning and do international exchange and online sessions and then come back for an intensive 1 week. Yeah. I talked to Tony Bingham and Ed Betoff, at that time chairman and member of the board of directors, to coach me on the decision to apply and join this program. And I did. And it has been the best thing that can happen to me because I started to change my practice. I started to become an evidence-based anthropological, sociological, and psychological student of things. So I was, this model. And before becoming a doctoral student, I was, let's apply it. Now I am, what is the evidence behind it?
Yes.
Who has applied it? Who has proven that what he or she is saying is true, is valid, is something that is really grounded in science.
Yeah.
So I became a blender of a very good practitioner approach that is down to earth, that is urgent and biased for action, but at the same time a very careful and cautious scholar perspective that will always say, let's do research first. Let's do a lead review. Let's see who is the seminal author. Let's see if the research that is conducted about that is a very good research, because it's not only that it's research-based, it's that it's very good research. And I didn't know that. So now I have learned from many people, like the professors who are members of the faculty, but also the researchers that are helping us to understand how to become good researchers. And that have really helped me to be humble, to know that I don't know as much as I thought I did, and also to be an avid reader and a deeper reader. Okay? So now I have a master in education from the University of Pennsylvania. Thanks to this program, I'm finalizing my doctoral dissertation. And I right now I'm so fascinated by this that I started a MicroMaster with Boston University on digital leadership, not to get a degree, but to learn and to be exposed to this. So I didn't know a lot about digital leadership, and the digital transformation was something that I was reading, but I didn't know about it. I needed to go deeper on that. So I took this MicroMaster from Boston University that I will say is impeccably designed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning a lot thanks to this. And I am exposed to a very robust online program that is, if you finalize the MicroMaster and you get the approval from the university, that counts as a third of the real master.
Got it.
For 1 year.
So it can be a building block
it
towards
can be
a
a building
full-on
block.
master's degree.
And I didn't do it for the degree, but I did it for the content and the knowledge. And I am very excited about everything I'm learning in the program.
How's the pedagogy around that?
It's very good.
Yeah.
Is video based, but it's a lot of working assignments and conversation and interactions. It's a very active. The facilitator is always asking you to do things and to do things at your office or at your reality and come back with feedback and results. So I was applying every single block of content in my life.
Wonderful.
And also not only in my profession and in my role, but also in my normal life, living in a digital society. So with my kids, with my personal work and my nonprofit work. So it was like, I am really reaching the people that I am serving, how I can reach them better. So it comes to a concept of phygital. So the combination of physical spaces and interactions with your stakeholders and the digital. And it was a marketing term. It was trademarked by a New York-based advertisement agency. But then it was used by digital marketing experts. But then it was taken by the real interconnected retail and interconnected manufacturing, where you were actually thinking how I can really combine the physical space and the digital space. And then this word, phygital, came to place. If we take it to learning, it's like blended learning.
Yes.
Blended learning is phygital.
Right.
You have face-to-face,
physical
and you
activities.
have a digital component that it can be synchronic or asynchronic, online. It's really a powerful perspective, especially now, to see that combination and that balance.
Are you going through the program with a cohort, or is it completely on your own?
Yeah, it is on your own, but you can choose to be in a cohort too.
Yeah.
You can do it at your pace. You can take it, but at least each module is a cohort.
Got it.
So if I get this module, okay, I like data science applied to digital transformation, I will be with a cohort. I might not see that cohort anymore because I will take another module that is not sequential.
Got it.
Okay, and it will go to another cohort that is specific for this module.
Got it. Interesting. I just think the pedagogy around online learning, when maybe 15 years ago, when MOOC started to evolve, we got academics involved in designing these programs. I think the quality of online learning really went up, and there's some amazing innovation.
It is
happening
amazing.
in this space.
And something else, now that you have said that, I was really thrilled by the technology behind it, Chris, because I was exposed to a lot of online learning, education, training, learning processes and experiences. But when I started to work with EDX and Boston University, and when I was like, okay, I'm going to present the exam, and they said, okay, we're going to scan your room.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean that we're going to scan your room? Oh, we're going to scan your room because we want to make sure that during the test, nobody will get in and get out, and you will not move your face out of the computer to do something else, because we need to ensure that you know the content. Right? And I was like, wow, this is very serious.
Yes.
Right? So because you're used to, okay, hold on, I will pause the exam, I will check the content.
Read through the book.
Exactly, and then I will go back and provide the answer.
Yeah.
This was a very, very real experience of evaluation and assessment of their knowledge.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing identity checking technology